Hello everybody, toast to you and all you do. I hope you're having a fantastic day. I know this video is going up very late because tonight is the full moon, or early tomorrow morning, depending on where you live, and it's an eclipse. But it's just been crazy for me all over the place. Not really all over the place, I guess, just at the farm, working. We got the chamomile planted, we got the loofah bed started, we dug a giant path, which took forever. I think we have almost enough wood to finish the labyrinth now. We laid out all of the garden beds, which we have a lot. Actually, I have a really funny video I'm going to share. I'll see if I can upload it as like a short, or I'll for sure load it up to my Instagram. But it's funny because we have this, they're called deer kill birds, and have a nest. And their nest is like the ground where they decide to lay their eggs. So it doesn't look like a nest at all. But we were raking and we're burning weeds and we're cleaning up the space where we're going to put the garden beds. And this bird is like coming within 3 feet of us, like squawking, yelling, mad. And then it finally just it was sitting on its nest, but it didn't look like a nest. So I went home and did a bunch of research, found out what kind of bird it was, how to treat it, what its eggs look like, most importantly, because it does have a couple eggs over there. So we built a barrier. We gave it like 6 or 7 feet. And then this whole corner of the garden bed space. And it still squawks at us when we go out there to work, but I think that they haven't figured out. But they do this really funny dance where they pretend like their wing is broken to like draw you away. It was really entertaining. But so we have some National Geographic going on over there. Experiencing life. But so we just have all kinds of stuff going on over there. Lots and lots of loofahs. We also started doing the farmer's market. So if you're in the Greeley area in northern Colorado, come out and see us at the farmer's market. We're selling loofahs. And on the side door, you can ask. We have our spells. We have all of the stuff that we normally sell at like Pagan Pride and other places like that. And so but we just don't have it on display. It's just not that environment, I guess it would be. Inappropriate almost, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, so we have the farmer's market going on Saturdays. We're selling the loofahs, so we're just really, really busy. So today is the first moment I've had, which I don't even really have. So we're doing the video now. Making it happen. Making time for everything. Magically. Because it's going to happen. Anyway, so we have the eclipse happening, which is this great amount of energy. Abundant, exuberant amount of energy. You see a lot of apprehension about this time and kind of nervousness, like it's something bad happening. Our ancestors, many of them would have seen this as some kind of battle that the moon was going through, or a heightened state of the phases. When the moon has a lunar eclipse, it goes through all of the stages in one night. And with the type of eclipse that we're having being a full super moon and all of the things that it is, I can't say the word. So it's a full lunar eclipse. A whole moon will turn that red color. It's not the same as like a solar eclipse, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, so this would have been seen as a time where the deity of the god of the moon was going through some kind of transition, battle. I love the South American Inca myth. They believed that the moon goddess was being consumed by a fox. So they would all go outside and holler and hoot and howl and yell at the moon and scare away the fox. And then they would bring the goddess back to her full beauty. And so it's just it's a fun, I don't know, for me that's like a fun myth. And so sometimes I want to go out and howl at the moon, especially on the eclipse. So this lunar eclipse is happening in Scorpio, which is a very deep, passionate energy ruled by water and transformations. And the solar eclipse in itself is of transformations. It is also the moon is conjunct with the southern node, south node, and this is the end, the final, the stop, like letting go of the past so that we can make way for the beginning. So it's, again, that transitional energy. So we just have a lot of transitions happening right now. And it's springtime. So we have that transition happening. And so you're really feeling maybe some anxiety, some like, I need to do something, or something big is happening, anticipation, that kind of energy. And it's not just going to be today on the full moon. You would have felt it probably 1 or 2 weeks ago, starting on the solar eclipse. And it'll continue on for 3 months. And so it goes technically in 3 months in each direction of an eclipse, you begin to feel that energy. And so it's a large time period in which this energy accumulates and crescendos and then goes back down. I mean, I think of it as like a symphony. But we also have a lot of other things going on, not just the solar or the lunar eclipse. So, see, I don't know. I always get rattled. Should we talk about the moon first, or should we talk about the astrology first? You guys let me know in the comments. I'm gonna stick with the moon because that's what we're talking about. And so we have the total. Okay, so the moon is conjunct with the south node. This is bringing about, with the Scorpio, they're both in Scorpio, with that energy, it's really bringing about like this purging of old energy, this bringing to the surface of feelings, which again is kind of a common theme throughout this moon. Eliminating the muck, bringing it, like get out that spring cleaning, and we're going to spring clean on the inside, do some internal shadow work, really bring that out into the open, air out those secrets, bring them out, just let it go, because there's no reason to keep that. You're going to see that on all levels right now. You're going to feel that on your individual level, and then we're going to see that on like a community level. You do see like lots of secrets coming out. We're getting these documents out from the government about all of their tests and vaccines and COVID stuff, which is revealing a lot of secrets about what's going on there. We're also seeing a lot of governments really showing their colors as we come into this horrible place with Ukraine, and not just Ukraine, but we have bad things going on in Ethiopia, in the Middle East. There is just chaos happening all over. And so even in countries where we don't think it's happening, but in all over. So we're really seeing this like revolution of the people and this awakening where their eyes are opening. And so on an individual level, we're having those awakenings, and on a grand level, we're having those awakenings. And this solar eclipse is very much like flooding the energy with this transformational energy and really bringing about this change. And it's like, it's okay. One of the astrologers that I follow, she made the analogy, which after I've been thinking about it for a few days now, really, really resonates as true, is that as you have any kind of transformation, you think about a butterfly. And as it goes into the chrysalis and it's in this stage of like confined stuckness, like it can't move, it can't do anything, all it is doing is transforming. If you were to tell that caterpillar that when you're done with this confined transformational state, you will be free to fly wherever you want, that caterpillar is like, yeah, whatever. Bruh. All it sees is this space. And that's kind of like where we are right now, and where we are coming from is this place of like confined internal, and not like, I'm not talking about the lockdowns. I guess that was really a physical manifestation of the internal internal energy that's happening because of the astrological influences in this whole, like, I feel like there should be that, I should put on that Facebook feed thing that like puts all of the stars and it's all woo when I say things like that. But so we have this grand energy that is like accumulating and building, and we've created our chrysalis where we are inside and we are making those transformations, and soon we're going to come out the other side. But it's hard to see that other side while you're stuck in this trap of the chrysalis, of the change. And so right now we're in that transformational state, and it's hard to see the positive things that can happen on the other side because we're in the middle of this transformation, of all of this change, of this changing energy, of this changing of like our norms. We had a huge societal shift recently, and we're still working through that and figuring out what the reality is coming out the other side, and who we are as people, and where we want to sit with that, and how this is all going to kind of play out. And right now we're just trying to figure that out. And I want to say, I almost said ironically, but it's not ironic. Like, the energy of the solar system influences the energy of our daily lives in such a way. These are events that we can see through these shifting times. And it's one of them amazing phenomenons that brings the science and the reality of like being able to see these things, and also the astrological, because we're talking about the effects of the angles of the planets and the energy that they're putting onto the earth and where we sit and how that influences our daily lives. It's an amazing magical phenomenon. That's what we'll call it. Anyways, let's get back to the full moon. It's solar eclipse. The things that you can't say in like normal everyday conversations. I'm like, yes, we're in the middle of a solar eclipse and the phenomenons of the influence that it has on our daily lives and the predicting of the future through these events of the solar changes, and being able to say, if I pull up this chart, I can see these things. And it's, some people look at me like I'm crazy, but sometimes when I make the videos outside, which I'm not doing because they're mowing, but sometimes I can hear my neighbors like in their backyard and like doing stuff. And I just wonder, like, they can hear me. I wonder what they think. They're like, this crazy lady over here, she's talking to herself about craziness. I don't know. It's just entertaining for me sometimes. Anyways, let's get back to the moon. We're all over the place. So, this dark moon, well, not dark moon, this full moon, getting a solar eclipse, so it will go through the dark moon phases. But next to the south node in Scorpio is really bringing this deep intuition to the surface. It's really bringing out these, like, all of the internal traits that we have that we keep to ourselves, you know, the curiosities, the ways that we want to be different, the things that would not necessarily be considered societally correct, that we keep inside. And we're like, well, just keep that to a check. I'm a grown-up. I can't go run through the fields. And my favorite thing to do in springtime, and I still to this day will do it, and now that I have kids, I don't look so crazy because they're like, oh, she's doing it with her kids. But when the crabapple trees are in full bloom and they're starting to lose their petals off the flowers, I just love going underneath one and shaking it, and shaking all those leaves and getting that. But that's a behavior that we are like, maybe I shouldn't do that because I look like a crazy person. But you don't look like a crazy person. I'm sorry. That to me is not crazy. That's an amazing experience. And I love that every spring. For me, it's part of my high spring celebration. At some point, I need to go do that. At least find one tree that I can give a good shake and let all of those petals fall down. Make a wish. Call to the fairies. It's beautiful. But it's those kind of behaviors that as you're, I have a great example of this. One year we had a bunch of people together. We were all living in tiny apartments. So we were like, we are going to get together and we're going to walk the 10 blocks down to this park, and we're going to shake every tree on the way, and we're going to bring our staffs, and we're going to just do it. And this is in Denver. So we walked down Capitol Hill on 12th all the way down to the park. And the whole way we're shaking every tree. We're tapping our sticks, we're doing our thing, and somebody was at the bus stop across the street, and she says, oh, look, honey, the pagans. It was amazing. And that's a memory I'll never forget, and it was a beautiful thing, but it was definitely very obvious that we were different. And it's those behaviors that this moon is really calling to. It's those deep internal feelings, those things that we don't normally let out, those curiosities, those inner passions that and they're wanting to come out. They're calling to you. They're saying, hey, psst, don't let me out. And so we are being questioned by this opposing Taurus sun, which is very physical, very much like this is the real things that I experience all the time. And then this dark, passionate, internal energy where they both come together in their passions. Now, how much of your passions are you bringing into your reality? And that's really what it's calling to. And then in the energy of this eclipse, it's saying transform. It's calling to those things. What can you bring to the surface? And it's okay if it's different, and it's okay to be that different person and just bring it out anyways, because you'll find that you are a happier person. There is no better joy than shaking a crabapple tree when it's got those petals. And if you've never done it, I highly recommend go out and shake the crabapple tree and just stand there and feel the petals fall down on you. Oh, it's amazing. But it's those little experiences, stepping in the leaves in the fall, to where you hear that crunch under your feet. Some people look at me like I'm crazy because I'll walk in the gutter and I stomp on all the leaves, because again, that's one of those things that really brings about this inner joy, this peace, this connection to earth. And it's not necessarily societally normal for a grown woman to be shaking trees and stomping in the leaves, but that's okay. I think if everybody went out and did the things that called to them like that, we would have happier people. We would all be in this happier, better place where we were more comfortable and more at peace with ourselves. And so that's what this energy is calling to. And so a lot of the anxious energy is because it's really hard to let go of that societal belief that we have to stay inside these confined lines and do it in this way that everybody else is doing it, and that's how you find happiness. Because it's really not. You find happiness in the way that you find happiness. Much like the way that you find spirituality, it is your path, and that's going to be the one that is best for you. And so your happiness is very much like that. You have to take those steps to let out those inner, your inner child, your inner passions, your inner curiosities, and let them come to surface. Stop holding all of those things inside as like little secrets that you have to hold on to. It's okay. It's okay to be you. And it's okay to be happy and to let that flow forth so that you can provide that to the world. Remember, the energy that you put out comes back to you, and then the energy that you come out affects the people around you in the same way. You ripple out this energy, and then it ripples out from them, and you create this beautiful, raindrops hitting a pond, and you see all of the ripples. Well, if we're all raining joy onto the pond of our collective consciousness, these ripples are all going to be happy ripples, and we're going to have this beautiful, happy, expanding energy. And we can start to wash away this negative, controlling, tight energy that our society has taken to. So, now let's talk about the other astrological influences that are really pointing towards this. So first and foremost, Mercury's in retrograde. And like I've said before, and I'll say it again, retrogrades don't necessarily mean a negative thing. A retrograde is an energy in which needs your attention. It needs you to focus on it. Now, this retrograde started in Gemini, and it'll be shifting to Taurus, and it lasts till June 3rd. But this change is that in Gemini, it makes you want to talk. It makes you want to communicate. You might say things that you don't mean to say out loud. But it makes you want to use words with other people. And then we shift to Taurus, which is more of a tell it like it is. Here are the facts. This is what it is. And we're just going to share this truth. And this is my reality. And I'm going to share that reality. And so we have a very verbal Mercury. And so if you find that you're getting caught up in your words, or you find that you're having trouble communicating, stop to think about where you need to work on those communication skills, I guess. Where are those communication skills happening? And that'll give you the insight that you need in order to find out what it is that Mercury is challenging you with. It's also in correlation with what's going on in the communication. It is also heightening communication with yourself. And so that between your passions and your internal Scorpio energy, and then that Taurus physical. So you're having that communication between internal and external. And so it's going to want you to open up on those lines of communication. And so for many, we have very defined categories between this is who I am, and this is who I show to the world, and this is who I am at work, and this is who I am when I'm with these people. And we have these different archetype characters that we put on different hats. And this energy that's happening right now is kind of blurring the lines between those different hats, and it's calling to you to communicate with yourself and challenging you to kind of meld those together to be you all the time, and not just at work you're this way, and with your friends you're this way, and with your family you're this way, and when you're out by yourself you're another way. But really, if you just blur those lines and bring that together and kind of bring that into your true self, to who you truly want to be, again, you're going to find that you are much happier on like a grand scale, because you're not so worried about, oh, what hat am I wearing right now? Oh, I shouldn't have said that. I go to like kids functions and school things and stuff like that. And for the children, I very much wear a school mom hat. Like, this is my mom hat, and I wear this when we go to the school stuff. And sometimes I'll say something that I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have said that. Some of the mom friends want to friend me on Facebook, and I'm like, I know. I'm sorry, I didn't see it. I'll look again. Because I don't want those two lines to get blurred, because I don't want my life choices to be deferred onto my child. And the whole pagan thing and the religious thing, it's just, one of those lines we prefer to keep separate from our children, because I don't want her to not have friends because of judging, So, anyways, but bringing those different hats into one collective person, one person who it is that you want to be. And another shift that's really happening that is encouraging that is Jupiter is on the 11th, so it just happened, is shifting from Pisces into Aries. And so we're going from this expanding, loving, nurturing, loving energy that's like, yes, free love. That's just how I see Pisces. Into Aries, which is like, take action. So it's expanding that take action energy. It's expanding that, like, make those changes. Bring that energy into action and take those first steps. Take the first step that you need in order to take action, and all of this expanding energy. And so it's also, Jupiter is semi-square to Uranus, which brings in this positive expansion of the mind. And so really think about it. So again, we're really thinking about who it is that we want to be, who it is that we're creating, what reality we're recreating, how are we interacting, how many hats are we wearing, how many roles are we trying to fit into, why is it that we don't have any extra time? That's one of the questions that I ask myself all the time. But it wants you to find that hero warrior strength inside and really bring it out to make those changes and make things into reality. We have Uranus and Taurus, which again is bringing about this truth and this expansion of this expanding truth energy. And so again, another truth. We have just all of these, like, reality check. Reality check. What is the truth here? Who is it that you're trying to please and prove to? And what energy are you putting out there? Can't read my own handwriting, which is really funny to me. Oh, breaking new ground. So we're setting out on this new ground. The South Node conjunct Moon is telling you to let go of the old. That's what it was. Now we're going to move forward with something new. We're going to come out of the other side of this eclipse with something new. If you look at my very rough sketch of the natal chart, you can see that we have this line. So we have, it's backwards. So we have the Scorpio moon, and we have the sun in Taurus, and then all of the planets are up here on the top. We don't have anything here. We've got a lot of triangles going on, a lot of semis, semi-squares, sextiles, those kind of angles. So it is a very positive energy. It is a very flowing forth, positive, influencing energy. But it's all pointing towards this change. We have the moon sextile to Neptune, which is adding a little luck to that. So it's like a little positive encouragement to get her done. You couldn't see all of my hand, but I did the whole. Anyways. It's also putting in there some of our ambition. So with that warrior Aries energy, we have this ambition happening. We have Saturn still in this T node, T square with the nodes and the north and south node, which again is marking the end of something and bringing about this new something. And it's something we can't go back from. And it's not just on an individual level, but on a societal level, on a collective level, because Saturn is very much a collective energy. That's why it has to do with, like, karma and this collective exchange of energy with different people. And so it's saying it's time to make this change. Like, we got to change. We got to move from the old society to this new society, this enlightened, beautiful, utopian society, right? That's right. We also have this great polarity. Back to the moon thing. We have a great polarity between the sun and the moon. And I'm not sure if I already talked about this, but maybe a little bit. But Scorpio is these internal energies, and Taurus is the physical energies. So how are you balancing that coin? Highlighting our need to balance our needs and our internal needs and our physical representation of our life. And so how are you making that balance? It's encouraging us to be comfortable with who we are. And that's a big transition for a lot of people. And so it's kind of scary. And I think that's one of the reasons that this solar eclipse is kind of one that's making people a little nervous. It shouldn't, because you should be comfortable with who you are. And maybe you just need to sit in that moment and go into your shadow self and think, like, who am I and who am I hiding and why am I hiding that, and who is it that I want to be and who is my true self and what is it that I want to make physical and bring into my reality to manifest this heightened, spiritually better, whatever it is that you're looking for, like your better self. And allow it to like trigger your curiosity to like dig deeper and say, oh, okay, no, I really do like this thing. I like this thing so much. I don't know why I put it over here and kind of hid it. I'm going to bring it out and we're going to go learn something new so that I can do that. Maybe you want to learn to crochet, or maybe you want to learn to ride a motorcycle. Whatever it is, do it. Like, this energy right now is encouraging you to make those steps forward, to let go of the labels that keep you from making those changes and to just be you. So this is a great time to like write down your goals. And like, this goal's not working anymore, and this goal's not working anymore. Maybe add a new goal. I want to start riding motorcycles. I need to process these emotions so that I can achieve these goals and really make the necessary changes that you need to make in order to achieve all of your goals. So, last but not least, our last instant, like, heightened truth moment is that we have Mars and Neptune trine, and Neptune's in Pisces. So it's really bringing like this deep, loving honesty to the surface, and like, hey, let's expand our deeper self and really be honest with ourselves about that. So I really challenge you tonight to, one, get out and see this lunar eclipse. Pacific time, I think it starts at 9, so 9, 10, 9, 8, 7, I don't know. It's going to be like as the sun is setting tonight, so you should be able to see it. In most of the United States, at least part of it, it lasts for a little bit. So it'll be a super red moon. Hopefully you get to see it. So I challenge you to get out and try to look at it, to be present with yourself, to really question who it is that you want to be, and take that moment to like let your honest self come through, and maybe do a little bit of writing that's like, this is who I want to be, and let it go. And just be you, be true to you. So that's my challenge for you under this full moon. I hope that you enjoy this transformational energy and that it really brings you into the person that you want to be. So many blessings. Oh yeah, and don't forget to tell me, do you want to talk about astrology first, or the moon first, or vice versa, or all jumbled? Does it matter? Do you have questions? Let me know. Don't forget to comment and like and subscribe and all that great stuff. And I toast to you and all you do. I hope you have a fantastic day.